Good morning. Today I'd like to give the Lightwave Logic business review, the 27th of May 2021 for the annual shareholder meeting in 2021. This is the safe harbor slide. I'd like you to focus on the gray bar at the bottom of the slide. That's the takeaway summary from each slide. So if there's a lot of data on the slide, just focus on the takeaway and you'll get the message of the slide. The recording will be posted on our website, and so you can sit back and relax. There's no need to take notes. You can take a look at the slides afterwards. The agenda today, 6 categories: COVID-19, financial, market and business strategy, our commercial development plan, investor relations, and summary. The format of this presentation will be similar to the ASM presentation last year in 2020. And so let's take a quick look at the impact from the coronavirus, COVID-19, over the past year. So the impact on operations at Lightwave Logic has been minimal. So minimal overall impact to company operations. Our facility in Colorado opened May 2020 and has remained open. Our fabrication equipment and clean room has been fully operational. Chemistry and material development labs continue to produce chromophores, and stability, reliability testing continues with increased data sets. Employees are working at the facility, and in terms of health and safety measures, we certainly did implement a range of health and safety measures as per state and county guidelines, and we continue to be vigilant with regards to the pandemic. Of course, there is still a risk and uncertainty with COVID-19 and its variants, but we are operational and we feel we've had a good year. In terms of financial status of the company, as most of you may have noticed, last year we uplisted to the OTCQX and we experienced a higher level of trading. We feel that it was better exposure for the company, and over the last year we did get invites to prestigious investor conferences like the Roth and the Oppenheimer. We've had many more discussions on financing, and that has been really exciting. And of course, we would like to uplist to the NASDAQ. And further uplisting, we'd like to do this naturally. We'd like to build shareholder value through our high quality, differentiated and high performance electro-optic polymer technology. And as you can see from the right hand part of this slide, we have the uplisting requirements for NASDAQ in blue. And I've circled in red those major requirements. And I've added a column to the right in orange is where we are. And as you can see, we meet all the requirements for uplisting to NASDAQ except one, which is our share price. And we're working really hard through our technology to increase our share price and build in shareholder value. So in terms of an overview of Lightwave Logic financially, you can see the image of our headquarters on the left-hand side. We have a very strong balance sheet. In particular, our cash level is over $8 million. Our debt is extremely low. We're Colorado based, and we believe through our balance sheet, we are well funded. In terms of being able to get government assistance through the pandemic last year, we did apply for a PPP loan, and we applied for that in April 2020. That was approved. We utilized the funds through June 2020, and that loan was forgiven in January 2021. So the company did benefit from government assistance in operations through the pandemic. In terms of our markets and business strategy, our competitive advantages, and this is a slide I've shown before, but I like this slide. It's important because our technology suite addresses major pain points facing network operators facing the folks who put the optical networks in the internet. And our technology has impact, as you can see from these three images working from left to right, impact with energy savings to the design of our very fast and low power modulators to generate faster networks using our family of chromophores and polymers, to an engineering advantage where we have flexibility in being able to model and simulate and design different types of chemistry and device types. So our technology clearly addresses customer pain points. And that's really, really exciting. And we've seen this demonstrated over the last 12 months. The markets we're entering are growing and huge, as you can see from this chart. There's four verticals here. You can see component suppliers. You can see high-speed optics manufacturers. You can see network equipment manufacturers. You can see internet and cloud service providers. The markets are huge, doing billions of dollars. And it depends, many market researchers from different market research companies indicate large and growing markets in both datacom and telecom. And this is really exciting. And so where would we enter the market in the value chain? And I've shown here some sample actors, some sample companies, but you could see sales could go into optical component suppliers. Sales could go into high-speed optics manufacturers. Sales could go into network equipment manufacturers. The mind share of this market is by the internet service providers, the big data centers and networks. And so we have the potential to enter a market into a number of places. The dynamics will drive that focus. And that's really also relating. And so in terms of the product development plan that we've been working on over the last year, we've made terrific progress towards commercialization, deeper commercialization of our Polymer Plus platform. And as you can see, greater than 70 patents, super high performance design, 100 gigahertz design, prototyping, Polymer Plus with silicon photonics platforms. That's applying polymers into devices. We know we are leading the high speed, low power effort in this area. And we're enabling hybrid polymer devices with silicon photonics using our EO polymer platform. And this platform uses proprietary electro-optic polymer technology, starting with fiber communications, data centers, telecommunications, data communications. Our technology can be actually extended to more applications. So just focusing on this slide in the bottom right-hand corner, future applications for non-communication areas include LiDAR, automotive, sensing, displays, high-speed computational processing, and areas in general where light needs to be switched quickly. And as we'll see as we go further into this presentation, folks from these types of industries have been calling us up. This is great. Our polymers enable faster devices, lower power solutions today. And so what are our platforms? Well, we've been public on the polymer stack, which I think you've heard before. That's on the left-hand side of this slide. And you can see from the polymer stack, you've got the multi-layers, the core, the cladding. That's based on to silicon substrates. That's your classic stack modulator design. Easy to fab, low power, fast, flexible in performance. Polymer Plus and Polymer Slot are two platforms that we've talked about in our press releases over the last 12 months, and I'll go into those in a little bit more detail. But first, let's have a look at the polymer stack. And what does the chip like? Well, this is what the chip looks like. This is a polymer modulator chip. You can see the light goes in on the left into the optical waveguides, and it goes out on the right with the arrow. And the chip is rectangular. It has RF contacts. It has thermal bias control. And the polymers are deposited onto silicon wafers and then cut up in normal chip die. And so where are these chips in terms of performance vis-a-vis the competition? And now this is an interesting graph because on the horizontal axis at the bottom, we have years. Year 2000, 2005, going all the way up to 2025. And on the vertical axis, we have 3D optical bandwidth going from 50 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz to 150 gigahertz. And you can see I've written in some metrics. If you have a 70 gigahertz device, that's a natural 100 gigabit per second NRZ performance. Or if you use the PAM4 encoding, you can go 200 gigabaud. And you can see where I've labeled the pack in the horizontal red dotted line. That's the commercial limit today where commercial modulators are. And you can see from the sort of the orangey brown bubbles and the pink bubbles, the silicon and lithium niobate modulators, the indium phosphide modulators, that's generally where the performance is. It's about 35 to 40 to 50 gigahertz range. And that's the performance of commercial modulators today. So where are we? If you look at the green circles, you can see green polymers actually perform with much higher optical bandwidths. And there's a blue star that I put in that, which is just aligns to about 2021. And so what does that blue star mean? That's super high performance polymers. But let me just give you a demonstration. Here's an example. What is a super high optical bandwidth modulator? Well, if you look into the red circle of these technical graphs, the one in the middle of the slide on the bottom, you can see our stack modulators have an 3 dB optical bandwidth in excess of 100 gigahertz. And that translates to about 140 gigabits per second or 280 gigabaud. But what's really interesting about that, and also really exciting, is that our measuring equipment, as we put out in a press release probably about a year or so ago, goes up to 110 gigahertz, which is sort of state of the art in terms of performance measurement. Our devices are hitting the end stop, as you can see from the red dotted line. So we're close to 110 gigahertz performance. And we know our polymer modulators have the potential for even higher performance. So this is truly a great performance result. This is really exciting, and it shows that we have headroom to go even faster in low power. Truly, truly exciting. So where are we in terms of the route to maturity and volume? This is the TRL, the technology readiness level chart that I showed last year. I showed the addition of the silicon substrate and the polymer plus with silicon photonics in TRL level 6 and 7, which is prototyping and piloting. And so we're certainly progressing through this chart, and we're making our way towards TRL level 7 and 8. So going back to our technology platform slide, let's take a look at Polymer Plus and Polymer Slot, because these are the platforms where the polymers are additive to silicon photonics to enhance the integrated photonics performance, upgrading your silicon photonics with Polymer Plus and Polymer Slot. You can see Polymer Plus, you just add the polymers to the silicon photonics. And in terms of polymer slot, you add them to a silicon photonics in terms of a very tiny footprint, and you can increase performance in both of these platforms. So in order to do this and to get to volume quickly, high volume manufacturing, need to work with large silicon foundries. And it just so happens that silicon foundries are hungry for the opto business, for the silicon photonics business. They already have existing IC electronics, and now they want silicon photonics. So these CMOS fabrication plants want silicon photonics. Our Polymer Plus and our Polymer Slot will work really well with these foundries and their PDKs. So what's a PDK? PDK is what these foundries call a process development kit. This is the way they run things in their fabs. So let's take a look at this. So in order to partner with a silicon foundry, you want to have your polymers, or in this case, Lightwave Logic's polymers, added to the foundry's PDK. And the PDK is a library or a set of building blocks that these foundries use to lay out your ideas into a photonic integrated circuit, in this case, silicon photonics. And it's provided by the foundry to do these things. And it allows you to create innovative designs and to ramp volume really quickly and to really commercialize. It's the perfect vehicle for polymers. So making sure our polymers are added to foundry PDKs is what we've been working on. And that's the route to partner with. And so in terms of the performance of our polymers, you can see here in these spider charts. And in this spider chart I've shown before, and here I'm showing the diamonds. In a spider chart, the more coverage you have, the more diamond-like you have, the better the performance of your modulator. And we've compared our modulators with silicon photonics, indium phosphide, lithium niobate, and you can see on the top right-hand side, barium titanate. Our polymer plus and our polymer slot, in terms of their form factors and performance, as you can see from the big red arrows, have a huge impact with silicon photonics. And these polymer performance are very attractive to go into a foundry with silicon photonics. And so to commercialize technology, we've been commercializing this. And as you can see from our technology roadmap, in green, we're working on 50, 100, and 200G PICs, silicon photonics hybrid, chip on board. But the really exciting thing from this commercializing technology roadmap is the uniqueness of what we have. We're differentiated, as you can see from the left-hand side. We have unique chemistry materials. We have unique chip design. We have unique high-performance designs. We have unique polymer plus PIC platform that can actually increase the performance of your silicon photonics. And so you have to have unique value to the industry. And we have this, and this is great. And so in terms of progressing our polymer business roadmap, driving forward with our high-speed, low-power polymer platform for the industry, our current engagement includes, as you can see in the last 12 months, foundry partnering. And we feel this is critical to the success of this technology, to mass production, mass commercialization, and mass volume. And so our business model and commercialization roadmap is in 3 prongs. As you can see, not only selling components, but licensing the technology and technology transfer. So it's a three-pronged business model with a customer engagement process. And this is a sampling customer engagement process as we move forward with all 3 of these prongs. And so being able to partner for success, we have to partner for mass commercialization and to leverage volume manufacturing. Foundry partners for volume silicon photonics is the way to go. And we are working with multiple integrated photonics and silicon photonics foundries. They range from large-scale IC electronics, CMOS foundries, to specialized smaller silicon players. Device and fabrication designs for both polymer plus and polymer slot. We have a packaging partner. We're using that packaging partner for volume packaging, and that's to package our modulators. And we are working with that partner to drive really high-speed package designs, especially for 70 to 100 gigahertz bandwidths. And we're working with module and transceiver partners for prototype evaluation. And so our portfolio of partners continues to increase as we get deeper into the commercialization cycle. But in order to do this, we have to have a very strong, robust patent portfolio. We now have over 70 patents and patent applications with the USPTO. And as you can see in purple, a whole range of different disciplines, from materials to devices to packaging to photonic integration. And they range from domestic to international patents, new filings, and patent applications. But the real takeaway from this slide is that we have a powerful patent portfolio. And one of the real things that we drive for is freedom of manufacturing. That's critical for us. We want to have that freedom when we come up with our technologies. To support all of this, we have a world-class advisory board 4 really deep technical individuals that give us a huge impact for the company. And as you can see from the gray box on the right-hand side, they range from silicon photonics to reliability and qualification to customer engagement to proven track records. This is just great, and this is a great technical advisory board that we utilize frequently. We also have a very experienced and deep talented management and board with lots of CTO, CEO level impact. And you can see from the box, the gray box on the left-hand side, that ranges from governance to leadership to international operations, and including semiconductor foundries. So truly exciting. And so what I want to try and give now is some sample market reactions. And one of the things that we've seen over the last 6 to 9 months is the market not only needs high speed and low power, they see it as a key metric. And here's a couple of quotes. Lightwave is leading the high speed, low power club, unquote. There seems to be no limit to the speed of polymer modulators. This is a great vehicle, unquote. In terms of big bandwidth modulators, the quote we've heard, wow, 100 gigahertz bandwidth means a device that can go 140 gigabits per second NRZ, 280 gigabaud PAM4, unquote. In terms of implementing our technology with silicon photonics, I mean, we've seen 3 quotes that I put down here. This is a simple process addition to a standard silicon photonics platform, unquote. Or let's make sure we can utilize our PDK to accelerate your designs for Polymer Plus, unquote. And also, what temperatures are needed to add to my silicon photonics platform in the fab, unquote. Very interesting comments we're getting back from the industry. And also, not only have I included that, but the need for hybrid integration with polymers is accepted in the industry. And from a foundry, we want platform advances for hybrid integration and polymers that look really attractive. And so we're seeing this from foundries now. And as I indicated earlier in this presentation, it's not only the fiber optic communications industry that is interested in commercializing our technology, but we're hearing things from new markets and opportunities. From a LiDAR company, quote, we could really utilize that fast switching and lower capability in our designs, unquote. And also from a display company, quote, this is the solution we've been waiting for. Can we partner, unquote. And so the takeaway from this slide is that there is a really high level of interest and feedback is excellent and constructive. So in terms of goals for next year, just like I did last year, I'd like to put up a slide that shows the goals. So in terms of qualified silicon photonics sampling, we'd like to have tested silicon photonics chips. We want to have packaged prototypes for sampling. In terms of a deeper progress with commercial partners, establishing the design rules, freezing processes, performing QA, quality assurance, and rel testing. In terms of deeper commercialization, QA, reliability testing results, reliability qualification, agreement to supply product, make an addition to customer AVLs. AVL is the approved vendor list. And so the takeaway from this slide is that a focus on deeper commercialization with selected customers. So in terms of investor relations, the typical questions that we see during the year, both from our investor relations partner as well as the management team. And so what I've done in this slide and the next slide is some typical questions, and I've answered them. Do you have more information on partners? Yes, we are partnering more. For example, foundries. I've given a lot of information on foundries in this presentation. Do you have revenue guidance for 2021, 2022? We have internal models, however, we are not ready to provide the guidance yet. How is your customer feedback? Well, I can tell you right now, and you can see from this presentation, it's excellent. It's constructive, and it's silicon photonics orientated, and that's really exciting. Are you talking to tier one customers? Yes, both on prototypes and customer roadmaps. What is your first product? Polymer Plus has garnered huge support over the last 12 months. Truly exciting. What will be the speed of your first product? 70 gigahertz bandwidth, and that translates to 100 gigabits per second using NRZ, non-return to zero coding, or if you want to use the PAM4 coding, that's 200 gigabaud. That's truly very high performance, and that's really attractive in the marketplace. How does the company plan to attract new investment? We're now being invited to key investment conferences, just like the Roth and the Oppenheimer, and we are talking regularly with the banking community. What has been the impact of COVID-19 in this last year? To date, minimal. Everyone is working at the plant. When will this technology be commercialized? It's already in the commercialization phase, and we are prototyping. And so certainly we can address these questions. And as we go to the second slide, what is the status on stability and reliability testing? We have long-term testing with increased volume. Are you exploring new markets with this EO polymer? Yes, actually folks are contacting us from the automotive, sensing and display industries, but you can see our focus today is still very much on fiber optic communications, but it is exciting to see a lot of interest from the non-communication markets. What does technology transfer actually mean? It means that if a customer would want to make a polymer modulator or polymer device themselves, then we would help them achieve this through a commercial agreement. Do you have enough patents to create licenses? Yes, we are already in a strong position, and as I've indicated in an earlier slide, with freedom of manufacturing, and that puts us in a very strong negotiation position when it comes to licensing. When will we know who you are partnering with? Well, as we progress through deeper commercialization, we will plan co-authored press releases as appropriate for the marketplace. And certainly, I think we can address a lot of the questions that came in over the last 12 months. So in terms of summary, our polymer business is being commercialized. We are focused on deeper commercial agreements with our enabling technology platform. We're working with partners, as you can see. We are in huge markets with a huge data demand. We have polymer prototypes with silicon photonics, as you can see. And we're working on the prototyping there. And we have deeper customer engagement and partnering in general. And we have a growing patent portfolio. And so our business plans are advancing with our deeper commercial engagements with the industry. And that's really exciting for our prototypes. And I'll finish with our investor relations contact. We've had great support from the MZ group, and you can contact them from these coordinates. Thank you very much.